Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spill the Tea Radio, where we interview awesome singer-songwriters and those who influence their lives. Spill the Tea Radio explores the journey, creativity, and inspiration behind the songs. My next guest is a Canadian Screen Awards Gemini winner and one of Canada's most accomplished producers, composers, musicians, and musical directors. His original music and performances are featured on soundtracks and recordings from some of Canada's biggest stars, and he has contributed playing arrangements and productions to several Grammy-winning albums. His playing and arranging has enhanced the recordings of Michael Bublé, Gordon Lightfoot, and Anne Marie, as well as rockers Kim Mitchell and Triumph. So, let's spill the tea with Lou Pomanti. Welcome, Lou.
Hey, David.
Well, it's great to have you back on the show for our Christmas show. I was going to get like the hat and have Santa in the background, but unless you've gone to get you got your Christmas bell.
There you go.
You know, I have
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I have a set of those. I should you should pull those out. Lou, Christmas songs and holiday season songs are they're very special. But they're short-lived. Like we get to hear them maybe for 2 weeks, maybe a month, and then they're short-lived. So what inspires a singer-songwriter to write a holiday season song when it's just around for a couple of weeks?
Well, that's because, and no pun intended, that's because they're evergreen. And that means every year they come back. So if you're lucky enough, I mean, look at Mariah Carey and even Michael Bublé, but Mariah Carey is probably the prime example of all the hits and of all the records she sold in her entire career. What's she really known for? Every Christmas is that song. And it's the number one Christmas song every single year. And that's like ka-ching, as far as that goes. But, I've got another reason for loving Christmas music in that time of year. I think basically it's 2 months. I think it's November and December because as soon as Halloween is over, they start with Christmas, right? Bam. That's what the Americans do, late November, it's over. Okay, now it's Christmas. And the great thing about Christmas songs, and not always, but a big portion of Christmas songs are not like current sounding music. They're strings and horns and bells and orchestrations and lush harmonies from the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. So guys like me who specialize in that kind of a thing, we get to use our chops and people come looking for us. Like, for example, you can bet you if it's the hottest day of the year, I'm working on a Christmas track because they all want to get them done in July. I just finished Matt Dusk's new Christmas track. My favorite things, a Christmas version of that. And I personally love it because it's really the music I love is that style.
Lou, we've talked about the job of the producer on recordings. As the producer on this particular recording, what
Yeah.
was your responsibility?
Okay, so Mark said he wanted to do a Christmas track, and he played me a couple of things. And then he played me this song that he had written with Don Breitup, and it was called Every Time It Snows. And Don had made a demo of it. And it was kind of a rough demo. And I fell in love with the song. I thought this song is great. So on this song, I did I did almost everything. So my MO is I demo everything up on my system, which is right over there, and then I've got people to replace my parts. So I program everything: strings, bass, drums, piano, all the stuff. And then the first thing I do is I send it to my drummer, which in this case was Steve Heathcote. He records at his home, sends them to me. I replace them into my track. I send them to Mark Rogers, my bass player in Nashville, plays, records the bass, sends it to me. I swap out my program bass. And then I programmed the strings in this one. And what I did was I sent them, we didn't have the money to get a full size section. So what I did was my friend Drew Jureka does this thing where he records violins and violas um, at his home. And so I keep my program strings, but I layer through on top of to give it that realism.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have my big sounds underneath for the body of the sound. And Mark, of course, records his vocals in the room that I'm sitting in. And we called our old friend Randy Brecker, who lives in Long Island. All you jazz people out there will know who Randy Brecker is. He's one of my heroes, and we've used him a lot. And he played the trumpet solo on this. He recorded from his home in Montauk. So after that was all done, I actually did the mix on this one, and then I sent it to my mastering engineer, and it's done, and it was done.
So let's get into one of the songs that Lou produced. This song was released in 2019. It was written by Mark Jordan and Don Brado and produced by Lou and Mark. Let's take a listen to Every Time It Snows.
In the jingle jangle falling snow, I still think about you, even though I can't recall where we first met, the cafe or the cigarettes, the day, the month, the week, the hour. If the bells rang out from every tower, and I can't believe the streets were gold when you wanted me, so I am told. And laughter wandered down the street we'd go. Hey, I'm no prize, no gigolo. When the market's high, baby, I sell low. And I missed the train my heart was riding on. So I walk these streets we used to know, as Christmas lights blink, stop and go. And I think about you every time it snows. I was always wrestling, I was always chasing spring, when the rain was falling from the sky. Now the moon is shining in this empty room where we had been, and the skyline sings a Broadway lullaby. And I feel the cold down to my toes. I still love you, baby, that's how it goes. And I think about you every time it snows. Empty room where we have been, as the skyline sings a Broadway lullaby. Oh, I feel the cold down to my toes. I still love you, but that's how it goes. And I think about you every time. I think about you every time. I think about you every time it snows. think about you every time it snows.
That was Every Time It Snows, produced by Lou Pomanti. Lou, these Christmas songs are very, very special. Why is this one special for you?
Well, do you know what I like about this one in particular? Other than that, I just think basically it's a beautiful song. Mark has imagery in his lyrics that I think are kind of one of a kind. The fact that there's no mention of the word Christmas in this song doesn't stop it from being a Christmas song. I think it's undeniably a Christmas song. There are no sleigh bells on the track, and there are no, high typical Christmas bells, bing dong, ding dong. Like it doesn't start with the typical stuff. And but Mark's beautiful way with a lyric conjures up this image of a late December night, or maybe even Christmas night, and he's missing this woman because he thinks of her every time it snows. And I get goosebumps when I talk about it. I think it's an absolutely beautiful song, and I think the subtlety of it really acts in its favor, although probably not for its success, because I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I spent many years writing movie scores and stuff, and it's a rule now with broadcasters that if you make a Christmas movie, it has to have the word Christmas in the title. So I did one for CBC a little, quite a few years ago, and they had a beautiful name for it, and they said, no, it doesn't have the word Christmas in it. So they had to lose the beautiful title and call it Christmas Dreams. So that's why when you turn on Lifetime or W or whatever, and you see it's always Christmas in Connecticut, or it's Christmas Wish, or it's because it's got to be obvious with Christmas in the title. And I think a lot of Christmas songs are like that too. It's like bat them over the head. Never underestimate the stupidity of the American public. But I don't really think of things that way. I think people are a lot more sophisticated than large corporations give them credit for. And I think any thinking person listening to this song would know it's a Christmas song.
Lou, how do people find out more about you and your music? What's the website? What are the socials they can follow you on?
Please go to loupomanti.com. Go to Lou Pomanti Music on Facebook, and at Lou Pomanti on Insta, and also go to markjordan.com to follow Mark.
And finally, Lou, who would you like to find under the mistletoe this year?
Oh, my wife. I've got to give you the politically correct answer on that one.
We've been in conversation with Lou Pomanti. Lou, thanks for being with us.
It's a pleasure.